When I clicked on it, it muted it for a second.
Music.
This is my life of music.
Make form. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 hey.
Okay.
How's everyone doing? Welcome to our show. As you see, I told you we have an amazing interview right here in front of you. She's the whole screen. She's also Miss Becca Hart, the mind and soul behind the book Against All Odds. So, right now we got Caleb and MZ already in here watching. They're giving, rocker thumbs and hearts and stuff. We also got Rain from Soul Snatchers with Hey Family. At all, if you guys have any questions during this interview for her, go ahead and type it in the comments. But this is the great mind that we had when we made that amazing promo for her. She is the Arthur and the mind behind Against All Odds. So let's go ahead and jump into the interview. Are you nervous still? Or are you happy about being on here?
I'm definitely happy. I'm still a little bit nervous, but I'm definitely happy.
So you don't have to be nervous. Welcome to Karen Share. And basically, this is where we try to keep everything like family wise. So no worries. Um, we have an amazing family that is our viewers watching. The very first question is how did you get into the mindset to create such an amazing book and the story behind it? What gave you the motivation and how did you start?
Well, that's a little bit of a long story, but I'd been working on the book for quite some time. Um, and I just, I wanted to write something compelling, but I also wanted something that I could personally relate to. And, the character, there's a lot of me in her, and there's a lot of, frankly, my mother in her. And, she's kind of Elizabeth is kind of a conglomeration of all of that. And at first it started out as just a sweet romance, and then during the during the time where I was trying to get it published, it kind of evolved into a romantic suspense.
And
And
go ahead, continue.
I was just going to say that part of it, she deals with, some things from her past, like a couple of deaths and things of that nature. And unfortunately, that's something I'm very familiar with. And so that was part of it too, that I kind of put myself in that mindset of, having that to deal with and knowing what that's like, unfortunately.
So, how have you ever had the problem where you have to like? Is it hard for you sometimes to escape while you're writing, because how like attached you are to the characters?
Yeah, it can be. It can be. Writing, I mean, it is an escape in and of itself, but it can be because I got rather attached to Elizabeth and Gilbert, especially in this book. And I've been writing it for so long that I knew both of these characters inside and out, like real people. And I get attached to real people real easily too. So, um, but yeah, I just when I get to writing though, it does offer quite a bit of an escape. um, from real life. But then, when I'm dealing with things that I personally have dealt with, it can, the emotions can still overwhelm me, and it's really difficult to escape the emotions when I'm writing about them. But then again, it also, writing helps me actually process some of that and deal with it.
So, I'm just wondering if it's the same for authors like you. I know a lot of songwriters have the problem where they have to go back to that emotion where it hurts in order to, every time they perform or write. Is that the same for someone who's creating a story, especially when you have to go back to the feelings in order to show them out? Does it hurt? It's just like it was the same day it happened.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Um, that that's definitely true. Um, and I mean, I'm not, I've never tried to write a song, but so I can't say whether it's worse or not, but yeah, it's definitely true for writers too. Is like when you, even if it's not the same exact situation, like, with Elizabeth, her mother, passed away some quite a ways back before the story started. Um, but she passed away of more less sudden, more long term problems than I've had family members go from and everything. So it's, even if it's, and then of course her husband, Jack, she accidentally shot him. So it was definitely different circumstances. However, um, the feelings and the grief and all of the emotions that go along with that, there's a lot there that's the same. And yeah, it's really difficult to go back to that and um, kind of, it was running through my head again as I was writing it, and it just like, it can get really difficult to do that. Um, it actually got a little bit worse. I haven't gotten it published yet, but there's another book I'm working on. It's a romantic suspense as well, and my character in that deals with it in the book. She's at the funeral and the whole nine yards, and I really relived it then. But yeah, even with Against All Odds, I relived a lot of those emotions, and it was not easy.
Now, what gives you the motivation to keep going through the pain? Like, keeps you going? What keeps you heading towards your goal in order to put your imagination into such great words so people can relate and understand the story and the flow?
Well, part of it is that I just love writing so much. I can't stop doing it. And one one thing that a lot of people say is, write what you know. Well, I mean, it's not a hard and fast rule, but I know what grief feels like. And the other thing, it writing about it does, as hard as it is, it does help me process it and get through it and stuff like that. The other thing too is a lot of people, there are a lot of people out there that have dealt with that kind of thing, as well. And I I want to help them to deal with what they're going through as well. And I know when I escape inside the pages of a book that I'm reading, and I can relate to the characters, relate to what they're feeling, and things like that, then it helps me. Even just reading, it helps me to process some things that I'm going through, and like my feelings and everything. So I kind of, part of it is I'd like to give some of that back to other people.
And that's amazing. We you actually got a question from one of our family members that are watching. She says,
Right.
Rain says, I wrote a short story based on my life. I was going to edit it and add more to it, but I completely lost the whole story. What advice could you give to someone who is starting all over?
Oh, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to you, Rain, that you had to that you lost that. Well, I would say my best advice there is to if you lost it completely to the point where you can't retrieve any of it, I would just try to maybe just you know start start off where yeah, I kind and almost hate to say this, but it's true. Start off where you kind of feel the strongest and like okay, this is it. This is the place where um I either feel it the most or just start off there and work your way through it. I would treat it, and I definitely start again. Please pick that up again if you can at all. Um, but I would, just treat it like a first draft since you lost the one. I'd treat it like a first draft and just put it out there. Don't worry about, the first time, don't worry about what you're doing wrong. Don't worry about whatever sentences don't work or how they don't work or whatever. Don't worry about that when you're first kind of starting out. And in a way, you are because you lost the other. Um, and just get it out there on the pages and get it out of your head. Um, and then you can, after that, you can begin to shape it and make it something that other people might want to see.
So we got more and more people joining us. We got Sarah, one of our favorite family members. She said, "Hey." We got Rain with. I was so sad I lost it because it was the best thing I ever wrote. So now, have you ever had to deal with a lot of like negative feedback from other people while you were writing, and how did you get past the negative feedback to keep pushing forward to create such an amazing book, like Against All Odds?
I didn't get a lot of negative feedback. I did get a little. After it was published, that there was a review. Someone wrote a review that wasn't so favorable, and to be honest, I didn't even read it because I'd gotten the advice some time ago not to read bad reviews. But is just one. And I would say the negative feedback I have gotten hasn't really been specifically about Against All Odds, so much as it's been, people wondering how in the world I'm going to make a living out of this, and then it's like it writing for me. I would like to make a living, but my attitude um, is part of how I combat that. I'm like, I'm not. I'm hoping that people. Obviously, I hope people buy the book, and I hope people enjoy it. But I write because it's my passion, because I love it. I can't stop. I'd never be able to stop writing, and whether I get another word published or not, I can't stop. And I'm just like, well, whether I sell another book or not, if I do, wonderful. I hope I do, but I got to keep going no matter what.
So for other women that are out there trying to come up, and especially with in trades of art forms, what message can you give them, especially dealing with all the like you said, what message can you give all the women that are watching that have self doubts and has been going through a hard time and stuff like that to keep being progressive and know that eventually you'll get somewhere? What can you advise to them?
when I was really young, um, I've been writing since I was probably 13, 14 years old. And when I was really young, I wrote an email, the first email I ever wrote, which tells you maybe how old I am. But um, I wrote an email to um, my favorite author at the time, Danielle Steele. And believe it or not, 3 weeks later, I got a message back from her, and she told me something I'll never forget: is to persevere, keep on going, and the self doubt will plague you like crazy. I mean, it plagues me like crazy all the time. I get to thinking sometimes maybe I'm not that great of a writer after all. But part of it is I can't stop, whether I'm good writer or not. I can't stop anyhow, and just persevere, keep on plugging at it. And specifically for writing, one of the things that helps me, especially when it comes to trying to get published, which is difficult, um, is that even some of the most famous writers, like we're talking the likes of Stephen King, um, and people like him, have gotten their books rejected by publishers. And that fact helps a lot, knowing that some of the most famous writers, historically and otherwise, have gotten their books rejected. And it can be hard to get any work of art published, whether it be a book, short stories, poems, songs, anything. Um, and I just if you've got a passion for it, keep on going. Just keep pushing. Um, and just remind yourself, you got to do this. You've got to do this, and just try to push the self doubt aside. Try to say, it doesn't matter. Just if it's something that I need to get out of my head and my heart and onto the page, that's what really matters. And then you can take it from there, as far as getting published or whatever.
So the next question you have is from Rain again. She says, "Have you ever dealt with having writer's block, and how did you get past it?"
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not sure there's a writer in existence who hasn't. Um, oh my gosh, writer's block is a real thing. And as far as the way I get past it, one of the things that a couple of things I've done is, sometimes you have to kind of particularly if you're working on a big project, even if it should just be a short story, because short stories are hard to write too. In some ways, they're harder to write than novels. But sometimes you have to set it aside for a while, like a few days, maybe even a week or a couple weeks. You don't want to set it aside for too long, but sometimes you just kind of have to set it aside, focus your mind on some other things, go for a walk, um, go read some books or whatever, and just kind of, sometimes that's all it takes to get your creative juices flowing again. And then I've also done where I've set the main project aside, but I'll work on something that is, like say a writer's exercise, or something like that. I'm still writing, but I'm not focused on the project. But you want to make sure you go back, at some point. There was a time I had to leave a project. That might have even been against all odds, if I remember correctly. I had to leave a project for a couple of months. It does happen, because you just get so overwhelmed, and you're just like, oh wow, I just can't. Your creative juices kind of just stop. But it doesn't mean that you're done. It doesn't mean necessarily that this isn't what you need to write. It just means that maybe you need to take a break from it and either write something else or go out and take a walk, look out around outside, um, write something that you know you're probably going to never use or whatever. It doesn't matter. It still exercises your creative juices in a somewhat different way than the project is. And reading, when an author reads, you're technically working because you're learning as you're reading. You're learning, okay, this is how you tell a successful story. Particularly if you're going to read something by one of these, most famous authors. Like, for example, I mean, obviously it's not my genre. For those of you who've read this book, it's fantastic. The Green Mile by Stephen King. Not my genre at all, obviously. Um, the it is fantastic book, but I've read it and I was able to learn from that, even though I don't really dabble in writing that kind of story. I was still able to learn from it because I was like, oh, this is the way to tell a story. This is the way, I can, help the readers, live and get sucked into the story so much that the characters feel like real human beings. Um, and it helps you to learn and and gather information for your own to build up your own writing ability, your writing talent. So that's some of the ways to get through that.
What amazing advice. So everyone listening, she's telling you guys, if you guys have, it's not hard to get back on track. It may take you a little bit, but keep flexing that mind of yours. Constantly looking at other artists and their concepts. That's how a lot of artists and music do that as well. They listen to other people's music, they get inspired, and then they go off and do what they can to their own way. Just like you have with Against All Odds. So my question for you, is, are you going to carry these characters from Against All Odds? Is she going to be a part of another book, or are these characters just going to end with this story?
Well, I thought about carrying them on, but I haven't yet. Um, this this book was published as a single novel, which is rare in usually sweet romances and romantic suspenses. Usually go on like you authors usually carry on the characters to other books. They become background for other to other characters. But I thought about it, but I kind of felt like this the end of the book is I mean, you can tell that their lives continue on and things get better for them once they handle what's going on in the story. Don't want to give too much away here. Um, but I've thought about it, but then I said, I really just I didn't want to force it, if that makes sense. I really didn't see um, what more I could pull out of it, um, even with these characters as kind of background. Um, and I didn't want to force it, as much as I love particularly Elizabeth and Gilbert, but even Gilbert's mom and his kids, and Elizabeth's daughter. I love the characters, but I didn't feel like there really could be anything more I could say about it. And again, I just didn't want to force it. So yeah, that's Against All Odds is pretty much it for these characters.
And where can somebody find Against All Odds if they were trying to find it right now? Like, is it online for them, or I know that we got a
It's
couple of the links that you can find right now over on her promo on YouTube. We're going to be posting them up directly after the show to find this book so you guys can buy it and be able to read it for yourself. But this is the mastermind behind Against All Odds. The only question I have for myself is: have you ever thought of doing a story for the mom of Gilbert, like how she
hmm.
how she got the way she was? Maybe doing a story for her.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's an interesting idea. Because I don't know a lot about her background before Gilbert comes along, but that's an interesting idea. That could be something to explore. As I do love her as a character. Um, she's pretty deeply based in my imagination. She got some things in common with a few of the people in my family, and that's an idea. I hadn't considered that, no, but maybe.
So if you guys have any more questions, now would be the time, because this woman is not only a masterful artist with her words, but she's also a family woman too. So if you have any questions, this would be the time. So we'll give them a couple minutes to catch up because they're a little bit behind on Facebook. Um, but thank you so much for taking time out of your life and definitely letting us in behind the mind behind Against All Odds. And it was a really good read. Um, I was really impressed, I'm glad that you came to the Karen Share show and actually gave the advice that you did, because I see a lot of people giving up on their talents and gifts, and I think the world would be a lot
Hmm.
better if a lot of people will look at each other in a different light and see them for their talents instead of all their struggles. So
Hmm. Yeah.
so far there's no more questions. I think Rain kind of like tapped you out with questions. We want to say thank you so much for BTMX for you coming on the show, and
Welcome. Thank you.
we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna drop the links for them to find where they can find your book right after the show. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you
Yep.
have a blessed night.
You too. Thank you.
All right, well, I'll talk to you later, and thank you so much.
Bye.
So, guys, we just had an amazing interview with no other than Becca Hart, who is the author of that amazing book. So, definitely, I'm going to go ahead and tell her thank you so much for her time again. If you're new to the show, I'm DJ Shadow. This is Karen Shearer. We had a special guest who is an amazing mind behind the book Against All Odds. Definitely, it's going to be worth every minute of it. We'll be putting the links up after the show on our Facebook page, so you guys can go ahead and be able to get this book in your hands and see more and more what we're talking about and what the struggles she has created for her characters, and you can get to know a little bit more by her from by her story by going ahead and doing that. Um, Getting rid of that. So, the very first artist we started off with was no other than Silhouette Death. I'm thanking you guys so much for being part of the show. And now we get to our music part, guys. I just want to make sure we had our amazing interview with such an amazing woman. And let you guys behind. We always have artists on here. Why not have somebody from who's creating uses such beautiful wordplay to help your mind stay so imaginative and creative. So keep Miss Becca Hart in your mind. Definitely her book Against All Odds. I think it's a perfect read for a lot of people who are going through struggles. So keep that. So while we take a small break, we're going to go ahead and listen to an amazing band, Sepsis, one of our amazing sponsors. We were all the last 2 weeks getting you guys to go ahead and vote for them, for trying to get them the reward, trying to break the poll. And we're doing a great job. You guys were doing great. There's a lot of people who got free merch from BTMX simply by just listening. And thank you guys so much for that struggle. Hopefully they have no problems with winning this award this year. So we're going to go ahead and play Sepsis for you with their song Sweet Nothings. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and we love you guys. So once again, the band that you just got done listening to shortly after we had our amazing interview with no other than Mrs. Becca Hart with her book Against All Odds, we just got done listening to Sepsis with their song Sweet Nothings. Oh, I love the story about that. Kind of reminds you of one of the predicaments that the character, the female lead character in the book, against all odds gets through. So that's why I kind of played that. So if you don't know what the show is about, this is Care and Share. Basically, if you guys want to come on the show, let me know in the comments. We have my amazing team in here with you guys from Soul Snatchers. We got a lot of amazing people watching, so thank you guys so much for your time tonight. And hopefully you guys are enjoying your guys' self. I play music throughout this so I can help people be able to express their feelings. Not trying to, we don't own the rights to music. We just had the permission from 99% of the artists that go ahead and play for you guys, because they love to see that their music's able to help somebody be able to strive or get through it. Just like Becca said, don't give up on yourselves. If you have a goal and you want to be able to achieve it, maybe you might have to set your goal off for a side, but always come back to it. You will be able to succeed at some point, and don't lose faith in oneself. So the next artist I'm gonna go ahead and bring to you has, he triumphs every time. He's had so many projects. He's also an owner of Brutal Business Entertainment. He's also the lead singer of not only Nine Snitch Method, but he's also the lead singer of the band Seath. He's also a family man, and he works on top of it. Don't understand how he could be so creative. So it's such an amazing man. We just had him last night over on the round table, Mr. Patrick himself, and we're going to go ahead and play his band Nine Stitch Method with their song Ether. I relate a lot to this song, especially the words. Hopefully you guys enjoy the music. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you guys can relate to what I'm playing for you. So once again, that was Nine Stitch Method. Amazing, amazing song. That was Ether. He has a lot more brand new music out there. He seems, he sounds amazing when he's part of Nine Stitch Method, but honestly, I love it when he does Seath. It just seems like he lets go a lot more. And but they do have new music coming out from Nine Stitch Method. The whole entire Brutal Business has evolved for the great. You guys will be seeing a lot more of Brutal Business talent on here. Don't forget, we have another amazing interview this week, guys. It's going to be on Friday at our underground show. We're going to have no other than Extra Overdose coming to join us. We're going to be talking about his new CD that he just got done releasing. He just did a live a couple days ago about it. And you guys get to hear about inside his mind about how he creates the beautiful art he does, and what he wants, hopefully, people to get from the music that he's performing, and a lot of the truth that he's putting into his music. So you could definitely find all these artists I'm playing right now over on our BTMX YouTube on our playlist. So if you ever wonder what songs I'm playing or the artists I'm talking about, you can go there if it's easier for you to help. So the next amazing artist I have for you guys kind of fits how I've been feeling this week, and I've seen some other feels, is Never Enough. Nobody ever feels like they're enough sometimes, especially when there's a lot going on, or somebody's bullying you, or people just acting children-like. So I definitely want to go ahead and play this song for you. This is by Jeffrey Nothing. This is his song, Never Enough.
Some horns if you hear me. Keep off the pacing inside. Come to a clearing. Just enough space to open your mind. Always supposed to be everything on the inside. Lost if you disagree. With your backward know-it-all mind. Let's hit the ceiling and commence to killing all the injustice and organized prejudice. Sow your seed, grow your dreams from the ashes of ignorance. Nothing's ever enough. Let me sit down and show you your dreams. For it all falls apart at the seams. At the seams, seams, seams. Rub some harder healing. Let's pick up the places we rise. Come to a meeting. Monumental opening. Withstand a wailing and peace are prevailing. All the illusion and soul disillusion. Wake in the world wild and re-energize. Find the peace to survive. There are you again. Nothing's ever enough. Let me sit down and show you your dreams. For it all falls
Sorry about that. So once again, guys, hopefully you guys are enjoying the music. We had a great and amazing interview. Don't forget to go check out the book. We were talking about earlier. We'll have the link for that up on our Facebook as soon as we possibly can. We want to tell you thank you guys so much for coming to be part of the show. We'll go back to our normal weekly show next Monday. And hopefully you guys will want to be able to talk and be more part of it. Let me know what's going on in your guys' week. And I want to say thank you to everyone who showed up and shared. And thank you so much for you guys' hard work and time. We love you guys. So the last song we're going to play for this show, unfortunately it ends at 9 because I'm due over at Shadow Squad soon. And it's Twitch Monday. So if you guys like Twitch games, you never know what I'm going to play. Go and check out Shadow Squad. Definitely. I told my team one thing, but I'm going to go ahead and play another game today. It's going to be a mystery today. So the next artist I have for you guys, the name of the band is called Soul, and for the name of this song, and the reason why I chose this is because I just love the words of it. This is from Whom the Banshee Cries. If you guys know the mythological creature, the Banshee, it's basically a woman who comes out, who was born for torment, her spirit, and she cries out for those who die. She cries out your name. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the story that they made in the video. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget that Karen Share is every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget tomorrow night is Unleashing the Best, our rap and hip-hop show. You don't want to miss that. We got artists all the way coming from Brutal Business Entertainment. I play a lot of their up-and-coming rap artists. I definitely play... Yeah, so Patrick, he even said writer's block is the worst. So he's finally able to come to the show. We just got done playing you, Patrick. You missed it. Now we've got done playing your song Ether that you did with Nine Stitch Method. But yeah, we have a lot of Brutal Business entertainment going to be involved with us. We also play a lot of Shrunken Head Records and a lot of other amazing people around the world that I've been finding in these groups that are just not being seen and heard. And we want to give you guys a fair chance, and definitely have our fans tell you the truth of what they can relate to your song and what they love to it and what they don't love it. So the last song of the show is no other than Soul. This is the band Soul, and this is their song from Who the Banshee Cries.